Hi, all. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing how I passed my PMP exam on my second attempt and the PMI mindset that helped me to succeed. Make sure to watch till the end as I'll be sharing some exclusive details on my question bank that will help you in your own preparation. Here's what we'll be discussing in this video: my experience, PMI mindset, time management, PMP scenario-based questions, and updated exam style question bank. When I took the exam for the first time, I honestly wasn't fully prepared, especially for the PMI mindset and scenario-based questions. I was only focusing more on examples and memorization techniques. After that experience, I took a step back and analyzed what went wrong. I realized I needed to think like a project manager, not just like a student. For my second attempt, I applied the PMI mindset in every question, practiced mock tests regularly, and focused on understanding the intent behind each question. That shift made all the difference. Now, let's look at the PMI mindset in detail, which helped me to clear PMP exam. First, read the questions completely and understand the ask, because each question might have what would be the project manager's next action, or what is not among the process to be followed, or what is resolution which you will be given or which you have to give as a project manager. Next, check the question whether it's agile or predictive, because each methodology has a different approach. You might be aware that change management has got a different approach in predictive, like you have to go through a process using change request. Whereas in agile, you all know that the change request comes through a different approach where each changes go through a backlog and prioritization. Similarly, a leadership is different when it comes to predictive, where a project manager controls managers and the scope is also defined and he will take the control. Whereas when it comes to agile, leadership is about servant leader, where he will collaborate, facilitate, and remove any obstacles. So each project will have different approach. This will help you to select the right answer. Next one, always work with the team to solve the issue, because team will have expertise when it comes to working, especially with respect to technical aspects on any decision. So together, collaboratively, you have to work with the team to solve the issue. Next, this is most crucial because you should be able to differentiate between risk versus issue, especially when reading a question. You will not directly have the question as risk. This is what the risk is, this is what the issue is. It will infer you. For example, what is risk? Risk is something which may happen in future, which is uncertain. Whereas issue is something which has already happened. And when you observe a risk, you have to register it in risk register, and when you see an issue, it has to be registered in issue log. So, and communication is critical aspects. In fact, PMI says project manager's time is mostly spent in communicating, and 80% of his time goes only for communication purposes. And now you can understand the importance of communication. And without proper communication, even in effective plans could fail. Next, emotional intelligence. What do you mean by this? Emotional intelligence means understanding and managing your own emotions, and also recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. For a project manager, this means staying calm under pressure, listening to your team, and responding thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. When you have emotional intelligence, you build trust, resolve conflicts faster, and create a positive team environment, all of which lead to a better project outcome. For example, when you interact with a team member and you have a problem with individual team member during any performance or delivering any project deliverables. So at this point of time, using your emotional intelligence, how do you interact? Whether do you have a conversation with him in private and provide a solution, or do you address this in front of the entire team? How do you respond? And when you have to respond to vendor or senior stakeholder or senior manager or customer, you have to interact and provide reports in a different way based on a tailored communication. For example, whenever a senior stakeholder or senior manager or even a customer, they ask for a report, all they need is about the progress, the risks, the issues, and the completion, and including milestone. They don't care about technical details. So keeping all this in mind, project manager has to use his emotional intelligence to respond and communicate to different stakeholders. Next, escalation. It is an important concept. As a project managers, we all know that we have to work within our authority without escalating. But what if there is a scenario where we have to escalate? Yes, we will have such scenarios, especially when things goes beyond our control and we don't have the right authority to resolve the conflicts. In such scenarios, we have to escalate, and in order to do this, project managers should be able to understand and realize the escalation matrix, like when to escalate and whom to escalate and how to escalate. Yes, so we have to know, especially this will be helpful for scenario based question. For example, if a project manager is managing a team and the deliverables for his team depends upon the deliverables from other team and they are not delivering on time. In such scenario, if we are not escalating, the issues will grow beyond your authority and it will create a bigger problem. So in this scenario, we have to understand that we have to escalate so that the right people will intervene and resolve the problem. So this is the importance of escalation. Next, project managers always prioritize safety and compliance. In every project, safety and compliance comes first. No matter the deadlines or budget pressures, we must ensure that all safety standards are met and regulations are followed. Now let's look at a simple example in office. If your team member notices that there's a wet floor, what will you do? You have to pause the work until the area is safe and clean. Safety is first, even if there is a small delay. So this is the importance of safety and compliance. Next, never take an action first. You can use this mindset for most of the scenario-based PMP questions. This will be helpful for most of the questions because if you see here, whenever a question or a question is related to a problem, as a responsible project manager, what will you do? First, you will review. You might review with the team or you might review with the SME. In whatever the case, first is review without taking or jumping to the action immediately. First, you review, analyze, then follow the process. Then you have to communicate. Next, have a clear understanding of process, order, and tools. So by following this, you will not only be able to select the right answer, but this will also help you to eliminate. For example, there's a concept called a student syndrome. Only if you know or understand the concept of student syndrome, you will be able to select the right answer or also to eliminate the wrong answer. So you might have to memorize a few or have a clear understanding of the processes and tools followed. Next, don't stress on formulas and problems. Instead, focus what each term infers. For example, in a PMP scenario-based question, they will not directly say you that the project is behind the schedule. Instead, they will say that SPA is 0.2, SPA is 0.3, or SPA is 0.6. What does this implies? So SPA is less than 1. Anything which is less than 1 implies that a project is behind the schedule. So what is CPA within 1? So you should have this kind of understanding which will help you to infer and resolve the problem. So in this case, if SPA is less than 1, either you can go for crashing or fast tracking. So all this will help only if you have a clear concept or understanding of what does each formula or each steps implies. Next, selected answer is most appropriate. This is most crucial, especially on your PMP exam day, because for any question you will know that there will be 4 options and you have to select the best of the best, meaning most appropriate option among all the 4 options which will have the solution. Next, always solve the root cause, because you all know that we will eliminate the incorrect options and there will be 1 or 2 options which will be closer to the problem. But when you select the right option, make sure that the selected option will always solve the root cause of the problem. Next, PMI mindset, eliminators. We all use this strategy, right? So we will first eliminate the incorrect options. So I have just highlighted the points. I'll just go through them without much explanation. Reject the request or option, replace the employee, terminate, escalate unless it is really required, or lost option. We have already discussed in the previous slide. Ask employees to overwork, demanding an explanation. Penalty, limit only to certain users or stakeholders. Ask user or stakeholder to wait. So you can make a note of these options or as a pointers, wherein as an ethical project manager, we will not use this in any of the project scenarios. So you can use this to eliminate the incorrect options, which will help you to select the right ones. PMI mindset on your exam day. And this is most important. Time management is crucial, and that's the reason I've kept this in the end of the slide, and also to highlight the importance of time management. Now, if we break down the questions, approximately you will get 1 minute 17 seconds per question. And don't worry, all the questions will not be complex. You will have simpler questions where you have to select it quickly and move on. This will save your time for the complex question. And don't get stuck on a question. If you feel the question is tough or complex, please flag it. You have a tool or option to flag a question and move on. And in the end, before submitting each section, you can review the flagged question, select and submit it. And you will also have a highlighter tool and a strikeout tool. Please make use of this tool, especially on your exam day. So if there are a lengthy or scenario-based questions, you can use this to highlight the important phrases or important words so that you will get to know the intent behind the question without going through the entire or lengthy questions. And then if you understand the question, you can also make use of the strikeout tool to eliminate the incorrect answers. Thereby, it will help you to select the most appropriate answers as discussed. And last but not the least, please relax, breathe, and recharge during 2 breaks. It is most important to take breaks and also to recharge yourself so that mentally you'll be prepared to face the exams. So now, going through all the PMI mindset and required strategy, let's apply those PMI mindset and strategy to solve a problem. Question. You are managing a complex project and preparing a status report for the project sponsor. The earned value analysis shows the following results. Schedule performance index, that is SPA, is 0.7 and CPA is 1.5. The sponsor is concerned about the delay and requests you to bring the project back on track. What should you do next? A. Supply schedule crashing to accelerate the project timeline. B. Use fast tracking to compress the schedule. C. Switch the project to an adaptive life cycle. And D. Motivate team members to complete tasks earlier. And as I said, let's make use of the tool in order to highlight what is required. So the moment you see the word next, first let's highlight that. And the ask here is SPA is 0.7, let's highlight, and CPA is 1.5. So what is the problem here? So to bring the project back on track. So what is causing the problem actually? SPA. Because SPA 0.7 implies that the project is behind the schedule. Project is behind the schedule. And CPA 1.5 is a good sign where we have budget. We have enough sufficient or enough budget in the project. So now using this, how do you bring the project back on track? Let's see the options. And apply schedule crashing to accelerate the project timeline. As you know that schedule crashing is used only if we have sufficient fund or budget in the project. For now, we can keep this and let's assume this and see what are the other options we have. I use fast tracking to compress. Yeah, even this is a good option to compress the schedule and to bring the project back on the track. And the next one is switch the project to an adaptive life cycle. So we usually don't do this. Switching the project methodologies in between is not recommended. So you can strike this right away. And motivate team members to complete tasks earlier. So this is not a feasible solution at this moment. So you can also eliminate this option. So now you have two options left. Fast tracking is something which you have to work in parallel instead of sequence, but that might have an additional risk of quality issues. So since you have enough budget, and schedule crashing is a safe and the best option. So among all these options, option A is the most feasible and appropriate answer. Let's look at the answer. Yes, and answer is A. The reason is as the project has the budget, it can be used for schedule crashing to bring the project back on track. Next PMP question. During project execution, a key supplier informs the project manager that there is a potential 30-day delay in material delivery due to transportation strike. The project manager immediately updates the risk register and conducts a quantitative risk analysis to evaluate the impact on project cost and schedule. A week later, the strike actually begins and the delay becomes certain. What should the project manager do next? A. Update the risk register and continue monitoring the risk. B. Implement the planned risk response and move the item to the issue log. C. Escalate the risk to the sponsor since it's now impacting the schedule. And D. Rerun the qualitative risk analysis for all the projects. So let's use the tool and highlight what is actually happening and what is the ask. So if you look at the problem, there was a delay, potential delay, and project manager has already updated the risk register and conducts a quantitative risk analysis. So initially it was a risk and later it has turned to an issue. You see the word certain and strike actually begins. These will imply that it was identified as risk, now has turned into an issue. So what should the project manager do next? So if you look at the options, so let's check this option. Rerun qualitative risk analysis for all project risks. The moment you say for all, you can drop this or eliminate this option and escalate the risk to the sponsors since it is now impacting schedule. So at this stage, we won't do this. You can also eliminate this and implement the planned risk response and move the item to the issue log. So this looks like the answer. So let's mark this and let's look at the other option. Update the risk register and continue monitoring the risk. So if you look at the option A, this has already been taken care. In the question itself, it says that update the risk register. So this has already been taken care. So now the risk, it was a risk and now it has become a register. It has become an issue. It was entered into risk register, has now become an issue. So at this stage, implementing the planned risk response and move the item to the issue log is the appropriate answer. Let's look at the answer. Yes, and the answer is B. Implement the planned risk response and move the item into the issue log. Practice, practice, practice. And there is a reason why I have highlighted the word practice over here. Practice is the key to success. You all know this. Every mock test, every revision brings you one step closer to your PMP goal. Consistent practice is the key to mastering concepts and scenario questions. Use mock exams, question banks, and timed quizzes to build your confidence, and this will eventually build your mental strength and ability to solve and face the exam within the time frame. And focus on understanding the reasoning behind each answer. Develop your PMI mindset by learning from the mistakes. Updated exam style question bank details for practice. Based on my experience after passing the PMP exam for the second attempt, I have come up with a Udemy course, and the course name is PMP Question Bank and Exam Readiness Course. I'll be dropping these details in the comment section below. Please find the course details for your reference. And along with this, I'll also be providing PMI Mindset in a document like whatever I have discussed in this video, along with EVM formulas for your reference. And just to highlight here, I have prepared this based on the updated PMBOK 7th edition and along with the Agile updated. So, and I have also framed mini questions so that you will have a flexibility to take the tests and small exams based on your convenience. Please go through the course and please give me a valuable feedback so that I can improve the course and add few more exams or tests based on your feedback. Let's summarize. I started with my experience and PMI mindset and PMP scenario based questions. We solved two examples by using PMI mindset and strategy. And in the end, I provided the details of question bank and the documents for your reference. I truly believe in sharing knowledge. So I'll be sharing PMI mindset and EVM formulas which help me to clear PMP. Remember, practice is the key. Use the question bank in the description to sharpen your skills and build the confidence. With the right tools and focused effort, you can absolutely crack PMP exam. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and drop your feedback. It really helps me to create more useful PMP content for you. Thank you. All the best.